We'll see. But all right, guys, picks and bans are beginning here as we go ahead and jump right into it. Or excuse me, bans and protects. And we have Shiva going first. That's going to come from replays here, so smart ban there. Overclock as well. Two bans that we've seen happen quite a bit, throughout this weekend.
Without a doubt, TB, like you said, getting rid of the overclock. We also have Spacely going for high caliber. So not too out of the ordinary. Rapid fire, high caliber, the two main attachments when it comes to Black Ops 3. Not at all much of a surprise. But the Shiva kind of coming out of replays, more of an AR player. So it's interesting to see that one kind of be taken off the board off the start as we obviously get ready to transition as well. I'm really excited to see this hardpoint kind of kick things off. I think this is a massive, massive possible opportunity that we have for Luminosity. Not really known for their respawn, especially against this dominant respawn team like EnVyUs is, but this is their possibility to really do that and kind of showcase that. And you're also going to see the flashbangs and concussions getting out of Envy. They really just kind of want to force the gunfights. They don't have to worry about any of those tacticals kind of getting in the way. That's
right. Rapid fire, concussion. HC is going to go as well. So, of course, HCXD really good at breaking those hard points. So, stock. All right. John. That's interesting. So tell me about that stock ban in particular. What is the significance there?
I mean, stock obviously kind of helps you when you're aiming around, be able to kind of, I guess, in a way, kind of force those gunfights. And it really kind of works for ARs. It also kind of works for SMGs. I think for the VMP, not really necessarily known for the CUDA, but it can really help out any weapon. Definitely kind of helps in with aiming in sights and whatnot. So we'll see how that kind of comes into play now that it's not going to be on the board anymore. But we are currently in the specialist draft. Looking over at the side of Envy, they got the Heatwave, the Purifier for Aches as well, Scythe for Cap, and the Kinetic Armor there for Slasher. Some pretty standard picks for the side of Envy, though. But what are we seeing out of the side of LG currently?
LG looking for that Scythe, Purifier, Heatwave, and Kinetic Armor. So pretty much what we saw on the other side echoed here as well. Makes sense, right? That Heatwave is going to be really good at going in there and causing a lot of disruption. Saints is going to look to do that. Purifier, that thing is just a shredder when it goes inside of a hard point. Same thing for the Scythe, right? Is really good with protecting around the vicinity of the hard point as well. And Kinetic Armor is good for breaks. So I think John's going to do a really good job there of, when he does manage to get that specialist up, he's just going to pop up and pretty much run in there and do damage. Do what he can at the very least.
Without a doubt. I think coming into a map like Stronghold, One Hill in particular kind of focus on, I mean, kind of throughout the entire game, it's going to be those rotations. Kind of be able to go on those rotations is very, very important. For Stronghold, they're constantly switching from one side of the map to the other. I think just in general, kind of coming into this game, like I said, this is a big, big game for Luminosity, especially for this first map. There's a lot of leadership on this team as well. Replays kind of Advanced Warfare after his run with the Squad of Denial, kind of run his role once those guys left to kind of form with younger players like Hook and also Temp and also Spacely, with the Justice players who I believe ended up placing top 6 and ended up beating FaZe at MLG World Finals. So these guys, kind of coming together, coming through Advanced Warfare, had a couple struggles, but these guys were leaders in their own regard. I think together, these guese have a lot of chemistry, all have a common goal, I guess you could say.
Well, it's funny when you talk about Spacely, right, being a young player. I mean, similar to what I was talking about yesterday with BL Fire and Methods, Spacely also came from that NJ Halo scene as well, that New Jersey local community.
Yeah.
We all played in events all the time, and Spacely was that guy that was like on the brink of being able to make his way up to that pro level. So it's really cool to be able to see Spacely now not only competing at the top level, but also competing for brands such as Luminosity, which comes with a lot of clout, especially from its runs in CSGO and so on and so forth.
Right.
So really cool stuff there. And again, it's just a testament to one, how old I am, which is sad and makes me rather depressed, but also to just how talented they are.
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, the amount of brands, the amount of organizations that have kind of entered into Black Ops streaming, Luminosity, CLG. I mean, so many different brands that we have. TSM, who I believe are kind of walking around the venue here as well. It's just fantastic, the amount of things that we've been able to see. The organizations who have gotten involved in Black Ops 3, it's just absolutely exceptional. And things like this event, kind of propelling, and the money and the support that Treyarch gives us is very, very important, and we really do obviously appreciate it. But the map is loading up. Game number 1, getting ready to start here between Envy and Luminosity. It's going to be Stronghold Hardpoint. Now, is there anyone particular, based off of these two teams that you really want to hop on board with first to see how they start?
The Amish farmer.
Oh, I already know. JCap.
That's right. Let's see if he can go ahead and, find his second life as a farmer there. All right, here we go, folks. I don't know where I was going with that joke. All right, it is now time for this matchup to begin, as it's already getting hot and heavy here. JCap's going to get picked off over to Spacely now. He's looking around, knows the hard point's contested, and he's looking to do some damage inside of it, but he's waiting for that opportunity to push in. Players are pretty much surrounding him. He knows that AR is going to be able to help him out with the long range, not aware that there is going to be a player around that corner, or maybe he is, and that's why he's not pushing it so aggressively. But there you go, Kuda out. Teef looking to make that stop happen. And he's also using that CUDA with the laser sight,
Yeah.
too. I really like that choice there.
It's kind of interesting. You know, a lot of attachments can kind of run, and there's been a kind of story coming into this event. You know, is it BMP or is it CUDA? It seems that a lot of the players kind of preferring that CUDA off the start. You know, on LAN, a little bit different from online. It seems the inmate has been doing a lot of work, and also, like you said, the CUDA just in general. But not a lot of, I mean, pretty scrappy time off the start here. And you're going to see LG actually trying to go for that back spawn. I believe it's going to be Saints who's trying to get that back statue spawn. We'll see if it works out for him for this next hill. We're heading over about 3 feet to go into bottom mansion. Looks like Spacely's going to be the guy to be watching out for us. He's already set up and ready for some control.
That's a really interesting hardpoint placement.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, typically it goes cross-map. That first hardpoint then takes you right across map. But I guess not the case here. As Envy looking to clear that out as they have control of it and the lead, but it is a fragile one. John with a double kill, so he's looking to move in there and do some damage. Yeah, Spacely as well, and I like this right there. Watching those doorways, but there was no one up top to protect him there, and Envy gets control right back. This has pretty much been neck and neck this entire time.
It really has been. I'm going to go on board with replays. You're the main AR for this team. You know, kind of Advanced Warfare was known as more of an objective playstyle. We've completely switched it up here, having a 3-3 start, so basically even, of course. And he's not really a guy to always get in the hard point. That is obviously going to be, you know, more of the players like John and Saints as well. So he kind of does, just trying to tempt his way into the hill. Got to keep in mind those rotations going to be very, very important as well. And he looks like he's going to go and set up for that here in just a second. Last couple scrap seconds going to be very important. Spacely going to be able to drop one, cannot find the second. So Envy will most likely be grabbing these last couple seconds, and it's just going to be on the way here for Mr. Patrick Price, as he's had a pretty good start. 7-5 for him. Those rotations on board. It looks like Cap is sitting up here over in Shed.
He wants to do damage with that AR, but really can't find much with it. And Slasher just gets that nade in front of him. Did not expect a player around that corner, but there's that Purifier, so Heat Wave, excuse me, so frustrating to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
When that pops right in front of you, it's just like, man, it's really jarring. But look at this here, Saints. He's going to line something up, finds one. That's Aches, but he knows that player's going to be around the corner. His teammate Spacely, I think, was circling around there, and he ends up getting that kill on Teep. And Luminosity and everyone pretty much just slaying around this objective here, but Envy has had firm control this whole time here.
They really have. And you know, the whole thing with Envy that I really like about their entire playstyle is being able to kind of swarm hills. And it's kind of like a viper, you know, kind of just gets around the neck of the opposition, you know, gets those guys down. And every time that a player enters in a hill, they're either weak or they're nearly dead as they kind of watch over their hardpoint player, which is obviously going to be Mr. TP, one of the best objective players that we've ever seen in all of Call of Duty. And he's here in Black Ops 3 to do similar things than his run in Black Ops 2, a fantastic
Look at
player.
that stack up top. Did you see that four-man stack and how that just got shut down right away? I mean, I don't know if maybe I was reading that wrong, but there was just a lot of pressure coming from the statue side there, and they were able to neutralize that right away. So they blocked up so much time in that hard point. But now looking at this middle one, this is hard because you have these players, you have so many sight lines, right, that you have to be conscious of.
Right.
You have, you know, players attacking you from top mansion. You have players coming out through the doorway. You also have those 2 lanes over on the right side of you, right? It's very hard to maintain his control. So I do not expect a lot of time coming out of this one, but LG's trying to make the best of it here.
There he basically drops one, drops the second as well, so that's going to be a little bit of big time as they're going to make Envy spawn out near statue. Those rotations are going to be very important over to bunker, regarded as kind of, and what I would consider, now that Spacely does have that Purifier. Purifier's paradise, I like to call it. You know, the specialist can absolutely come into use, and this would be kind of considered, you know, a money heal in some senses. You want to have control, and early time is going to be so important. He can basically trade the kill, he does that, and now those rotations get ready to come in. Spacely's ready. He's got the Purifier in hand, about to make it an oven here, Golden Boy.
They need to get someone outside of that, right? They have to be able to block that spawn and force them to come from behind them instead of right there, right where flag would usually be at. But there's that site gets shut down as well. I mean, that's the thing about hardpoint, folks. It's all about the spawns, but you want to be able to play that forward position. That's what John's doing here. He's able to find 2, a headshot on Slasher, gets a kill on Aches, but TP with that grenade will find him. And I like this job with that heat wave, man. As soon as that comes in, that is just so jarring. You just do not know what to do at that point. Replays tries to stay alive as well. Spacely doing it, but it's all for naught. As 2 members of Envy have control of this hard point. And now right there, that Purifier pretty much blocking that doorway. If you want to come inside, you have to go through that wall of fire, and that is not easy to do, but Aches able to find him. A little whiffing there, but that's okay. We'll ignore that one. Still, though, despite that, this was a highly contested hard point, but Envy came out on top of it anyway. Back over to the middle here. Let's see what they could do. LG needs the time.
And Replay is trying to shut this one down. Can he find any kills there? He's able to possibly drop one. He does. This is a big play. He needs to stay alive. His teammates are doing a little bit of work. One player to be up top mentioned. Boom, you're done. And that's just a fantastic play out of Luminosity, who kind of slowly but surely brought this one back. They got a lot of time over in bunker. And Replays are trying to provide that, but that's a fantastic nade out of JCap as they're going to set up shop. Trophies down, and the SMGs and the ARs, especially from Cap, are going to be locking this one down. This rotation's obviously going to be important, and EnVy currently has their fantastic spawns, and this is just going to be all up to LG. You can see them kind of pushing through Mansion as they're going to be dropping. So EnVy, yet again, knowing exactly what Luminosity is trying to do and setting up perfectly for these hills, and just automatically every time we see them rotate, they always have preferred spawns. And when you have JCap slaying like he is currently 23 and 16, it's always hard to kind of master.
Hey, I mean, you also have Iggs going off too, 21 and 17 on him too. Slasher right now is on a 2-score streak here, or 2-kill streak, excuse me. But the key to that one, Landon, was that slaying around that objective, right? And also that nade placement from JCap.
Yeah, that
Syntax nade on Replays. That was clutch because Replays could have caused a lot of problems there. And because this hard point is going to be right next to the mansion, that means that EnVy is just going to be able to walk in there and just, hold it down, right?
Right.
But for Iggs, holding down this vicinity is going to be so tough. The driveway, because they have to. Now, here's the thing, right? Typically, I thought that you would want to push up and block that spawn because you want to force that spawn to be a little farther away on the outside because, again, it works the same way, right? If you're holding that down, sure, there are a lot of places for you to look at, but it's wide open field. So essentially, you do want to be able to rotate around. But these players seem like they have a different plan of attack here, and with due reason. They are the pros, and that's why I'm just the amateur commentator. So.
Oh, you're not the amateur commentator. You're good.
They have a plan. They have a plan, and clearly I'm not following it here because they're not blocking the hard point or the spawn that I thought they would have blocked there. Even then, though, that makes a lot of sense because you do want to funnel those kills out through the door. I'm kind of just learning as I go here, and it's quite fun.
Well, the pros are definitely kind of providing a little bit of information as to what's really going down. And LG now, in some cases, are going to be in a very good spot. They do have 3 players currently stacked inside of the hill, and this cut is going to be so big. John just turns around at the opposite time, and that's just a little bit of COD timing as he ends up getting taken out by the lightning strike in those streaks. The rich getting richer in a sense as Kaplan able to drop a couple players, and Slasher has been a phenomenal player just in general. Coming from Advanced Warfare was more known as an AR, and when he came up against Iggs was like, I prefer to play the AR, I prefer to play a bit more comfortable. And Slasher is absolutely destroyed. He has one of the best outslaying ratios when it comes to hardpoint, and usually ends up leading in kills for the side of the boys in blue, and he just looks so fantastic. Currently sitting at just +1, but still has to do the work for the roster, and with the SMG, he can absolutely kind of clear out the base when he needs to.
That was a big hill for Luminosity, man. They needed that hardpoint time as much as they possibly could get, and I think they got a good chunk of it, right? But thinking about this middle hardpoint, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough for them to hold, especially considering that you have just so many sight lines you have to be concerned about. But Saints, he cannot stay alive there. EnVy just running roughhouse all over them. 177 to 134 as you guys are just joining us here. This is game 1 between these two teams, two talented teams, Luminosity and EnVy. And we have 1 minute and 53 seconds left to play here. Of course, time typically inconsequential when you're holding that hardpoint time. It does not go down. It's a feature I actually enjoy quite a bit from Black Ops 3. Saints trying to protect the outside there, watch those flanks, but he can't really do all that much. And that, this is crucial time here for Luminosity. The fact that they've been able to keep them out of this lane for so long, despite the fact that EnVy has consistently rotated around and try and create that opening, but Luminosity's always there for the stop, is really impressive.
It is indeed John holding down with the SMG, like you mentioned. Not any time EnVy hasn't really gotten any seconds in this current hill.
It has to be cautious about that player moving on the left side, though. That's actually, yes. John's looking at him, and John was able to get the kill on JCap. That was a huge stop there, Landon, because if he would have came through and prevented that one, Luminosity would not be as close as they are here. But EnVy, for them, they have to do work inside of this next hard point. They have the specialist abilities, but he cannot get it through, and you have the Purifier basically looking to be that, but never mind. The Heat Wave comes in and shuts down that specialist ability there for Spacely. Slasher and the crew have presence outside. They know that the spawns are going to be coming through, and he's ready for each and every player who comes up that hill, but they need presence outside to be able to block those spawns and force them to where they want them to go.
Do indeed, and LG players just rushing through, and Replays is going to have the site. This is going to be very, very difficult. You're going to need the EMPs.
This is a big play for
anything
Replays.
Possible. He's going to hold this one down. 4 players are getting ready to enter in. Scythe versus Scythe. He wins it. He finds 2. Teammate John takes out the third, and 4 down now for EnVyUs as Luminosity are storming through. They take the lead, and they're looking to grab all these remaining points, and that's all going to be up to the keys and possible plays from Spacely, or excuse me, from replays as he ends up dropping Spacely now in the hill. Drops one, and can he find the second? His teammate's going to do so, and EnVy just not having a whole lot of luck as they're going to have some contested seconds here in the end. But like I said, in the end, it is going to be Luminosity who does have control. Got to keep in mind those rotations over the middle, going to be very, very important. But we have a very close game in our hands here, Golden Boy.
Nice play out of Saints, able to keep alive there, and now he's going to flank around them, identifying that EnVy's going to be inside of that hard point, so that they just want to be able to kick those stops, but Saints cannot stay alive. And keep in mind too, Replays has like a ton of streaks, and he's looking to bring those, bring at least a Hellstorm in. He also has I think a Lightning Strike too. I could be wrong there, but we'll see. Yeah, there it is. There it is. He gets two with them. That Lightning Strike came up huge, and now Replay's looking to get this flank. He has to be careful though, because those nades could come around that bend there, and it could pick him off easy. This is a very common spot that you're going to see players hold off here. So I would not be surprised if Replays gets picked off with a nade any second now. But so far though, his M8 has been doing wonders as he's trying to stay alive now and just rotate over to this next hard point. They have a decent lead, but it is a fragile one.
It is indeed. You can see the guys from EnVy realizing we got to make sure these guys are not up top. Mansion, JCap currently holding it down with an AR, just going to wait out the time. He's able to take down Replays. That's a big kill for him as he gets closer and closer to those streaks, but it's just going to be ended. Now Teep kind of sitting up top. Mansion, this is a great play from him. He's kind of waiting for his teammates to possibly corral, and when he needs to swarm this hill. You see this player get ready to come up from the middle, but no, he's not going to be able to find it. That's such a crucial kill because Luminosity now have full control, and there's only 20 seconds left before this one is automatically closed out.
They have, well, look at this right here, right? They have this flank, this swarm that you're going to see all these green arrows just beginning to descend onto this hard point now. It's going to be up to LG to just, you know, look at the doorways and pretty much make the call out of where they're looking at, right? They have to communicate with one another. Replays, though, is able to stay alive. He's going to find two, maybe one more, but Saints gets the double kill. That's going to lock things up. 5 seconds left, and this is going to be Luminosity's game. EnVy were in firm control throughout this entire matchup, but that is going to do it, folks. Luminosity will take game number one in what was definitely a nail-biter.
That was absolutely incredible. I think coming into this one, Luminosity were kind of on the heels. You know, everyone's saying, you know, can they take the first hard point? If they do, that's so big for them because when it comes to the searches, that's where they're more talented in. And them coming out like that, absolutely fantastic play. You can see Spacely in the final kill cam doing the work with the SMGs, but you were talking about it. The rotations in from that last hill back, you know, kind of in the bunker and also toward the bottom mansion was so big. I'm going to bring up the scorecard for you guys really quickly. You can see kills just in general. 340 bombs coming from Replays, John, and Saints. I know this one came down to the very end, but just such great plays from them in general. You look at the hard point time, always kind of scarce around, and Luminosity playing literally as a team.
I want to also highlight John because 13 defends is pretty big. But even when you look at the other side, though, right, and you look at what EnVy were able to do, they were able to hold off really well. But it was those clutch plays, those clutch situations. I mean, you had Replays, right, who was able to come up huge with those kills and be able to just body block that door with that Purifier, just make sure no one came in, despite him getting, I think he got heat wave there. It didn't matter, right? It's because the presence of mind was like, okay, we have this. That hill was, that hard point was huge for them. They were able to get in there and just cause problem, cross rough shot, and they just did not expect that at all. It was a huge performance from LG. They needed that win.
They did.
Because, you know, that's going to give them that confidence, right? A lot of people had EnVy coming into this one, but, you know, looking on Twitter and of course, COD Competitive Reddit and all these other, you know, resources, everyone said, oh, EnVy, they're a good team, right? I mean, they're #1 in the league right now.
Yeah, they are.
So, you know, with due reason, it makes a lot of sense. But one thing I have taken away from watching my brief time watching LG play on LAN is that this is a squad that has a never say die attitude.
Yeah.
That right there is one of the reasons why Replays is one of my favorite players, because that's the attitude he likes to instill in his teammates.
Yeah, and you were talking about in that